Hello, I'm Ollie and this is Criminally, where I talk about crime, pulp, horror, that kind of thing. Today I want to talk to you about why I love BookTube and why I think it's such a good way to share thoughts about books. So I'm going to start by making a confession, and it is something I've said on the channel before. So before I started my channel, I didn't watch BookTube. I think I'd dipped my toes into it a couple of times to see what it was about, but I'd never really watched it properly. So it was only when I started the channel and started, getting interested in seeing what other people were doing and how other people were doing BookTube. That I started, watching other people's videos, and I quickly found that it's something I really, really enjoy, and it's definitely become part of my, my daily routine. I watch BookTube every single day, and I think the reason I hadn't watched it before was, for me, the way I prefer to get information, if I'm trying to get information quickly, is by reading. Which might be, an obvious thing to say, as clearly I'm a passionate reader. But if I'm, researching a purchase I'm going to make or something like that, or looking for information about something generally, I find that reading for me is the quickest way to get the information I need. And I think that's partly because I'm quite good at, kind of scanning through a lot of text to pick out the bits I need to. So I don't have to watch a whole video to get a piece of information, and I don't have to read a whole article to get a piece of information. I can scan through it quickly and find the bit I need. So for me, reading is definitely my preferred way to get information quickly. But I don't think that's what BookTube is about. I don't think BookTube is about getting information. I think BookTube is about building relationships. And so it's just as important when watching BookTube when you find a channel that you enjoy, to hear about the books that you're not going to like that they talk about, as it is to hear about the books that you are going to like. And that might sound a bit weird, but what I'm trying to say is that you need to build up that relationship with the booktuber and understand their tastes and, the kinds of books they like, and how those, and figure out how those things align with your tastes, until you get to the point that when they recommend a certain type of book that it's a good recommendation for you. And it may be that there's booktubers you watch who recommend all sorts of books, but from experience that certain types of books that they recommend will be a hit for you, and certain other types of books won't, because whilst your opinions are broadly aligned with theirs, they might have particular things that they like that you don't like, or whatever. So yeah, I think for me, BookTube is very much about those relationships we build, with the people we watch. And as I said, I watch a lot of BookTube, so I have built up those relationships as a viewer, as well as someone who on Discord and things like that discusses techniques of how to make BookTube videos. So BookTube has been a great source for me of new friendships. And the reason I think BookTube is a particularly good place for book reviews is that relationship part. So I think you need to really understand a reviewer and their tastes before when their recommendation is going to be right for you or not. And I think for me, the reason BookTube works so well, and the reason it's become part of my routine, is because it's something I can do when I'm not reading. So I'm somebody who, if I have even 5 or 10 minutes spare, and I've got, my brain is free to concentrate and my hands are free to physically hold a book, then I will read. That's instinctively what I will do. But there are times in my day when I can't read. So prior to doing BookTube, I was a blogger, and I've still got a blog which I run. But I used to contribute to a couple of other blogs as well. And I really enjoyed reading books and then digesting my thoughts on those books into kind of 300-400 word review, and publishing that. But what I never got through doing that was anything like the levels of interaction with an audience that I've got through BookTube. And I think because of that kind of relationship building thing, BookTube is a much better way to have an ongoing conversation about books, than text reviews are. And I was always, one of the things that I was very conscious of when I used to write my blog posts was I was a really bad blogger. So I think I was a reasonably good blogger in terms of distilling my thoughts into a post, but I was a really bad blogger in terms of engaging with the rest of the the kind of blogosphere. So I never read other people's reviews, never, because if I can read, I want to be reading a book. So I just wouldn't follow other people's blogs, and that kind of that kind of interaction with other creators is a really important part of anything like this. And I think I was terrible at that side of things. So it's probably best that I found a channel to express myself where I can engage with other creators, because I do watch their, I do engage with their content in a way I didn't with written blog posts. So yeah, for me, the beauty of BookTube is the fact that I can, queue up some videos on my phone, set the phone on the side and have them running whilst I'm exercising or cooking or cleaning or doing the washing up or whatever. So it's become definitely something that I do when I am, my brain is unoccupied, but I can't use my hands because I'm moving about or doing other things with my hands. So for me, it's become a fantastic source of engaging with other readers, because I can do it at times when I can't read. And as I've said, if my brain is free and my hands are free, I'll be reading. But there's lots of times in my day when both of those things aren't true. And as long as my brain is free, I can chuck some BookTube on and watch it. And I wonder if that's how other people consume BookTube as well. Clearly we're all readers. And one of the questions I've had in the past is, how do I balance making videos, reading, and being part of the community, so watching other people's videos? And that's really how I do it. So the making videos part, I have to carve out time and dedicate time to, but I do enjoy doing it. But clearly I could be reading a book now, and actually I'm reading a couple of really good books at the moment, and I am quite keen to get back to them, so I won't go on for too long. But yeah, the creating part is always going to take away from my reading time, unfortunately. But as I say, I enjoy doing it, and it's very much part of the whole experience, and it's become very much part of my life as a reader now, is talking about the books that I read on the channel, and being able to discuss those with people either in the comments or on my Discord. That has opened up a new world of people to interact with to me that just wouldn't have been there before. And that's something I've heard people say in the past, is that the reason they started their channel was because they didn't have anybody to talk about books with. And certainly for me, that was largely true. And I've thoroughly enjoyed that side of it. I think it's BookTube has become a very important part of my life because of that, as a consumer as well as a creator. I really do enjoy that kind of interaction, both with other people who are making videos and with the people who are watching my videos. So yes, BookTube has become very much, for me, part of my life as a reader, and I'm really interested to hear from people out there if it's the same for you. Do you watch BookTube videos when you couldn't read for whatever reason, or do you have another way of kind of balancing the two sides of the hobby out? I'm really interested to hear in the comments what people think about that. Okay, time for a random book from the shelves. Today I've got this one, The Western, a Library of America collection of 4 Western novels from the 40s and 50s. So this book for me kind of really symbolises my life on BookTube, partly because the very first book I made a video about was a Western, Edge the Loner by George G. Gilman. But also because this book was sent to me by a fellow booktuber, Michael K. Vaughan. And Michael's channel, continues to be one of my favourite channels on YouTube. I don't watch all of his videos because he puts out a video every day, but I watch most of his videos, and they're always excellent. So I took part in the reading event June on the Range, which Michael ran in June, a Western reading event, and he sent me this book at that point. And it was a wonderful experience for me. Being part of events like that, I think, is a really important part of the whole BookTube experience, because it connects you with the other creators and with a broader audience as well. So I think those kind of reading events on BookTube are fantastic, and I really, really enjoy them. And this is a brilliant book as well. So I hope you enjoyed that. Do let me know in the comments how you balance your reading and your BookTube watching. And also let me know if you share my kind of experience that if you are reading, you'd rather be reading a book than something else. So yes, thank you very much for watching. Hope you're safe and well out there. Hope you're really good stuff, and I'll speak to you again very soon. Cheerio.